no, it was meant to be in black and white, and you light differently from black and white. No, it was designed black and white.
Well, how did that affect the design, both production design, the costuming, the photography?
No, you just make sure, you know, it wasn't just black and white, it was a very spare film with spare shots. But what it meant was that it had very few elements in the shot. You know, the costumes we had to test the costumes, you know, make the black not too black so it doesn't kind of burn black. The whites were not exactly whites, you know. We just tested the tones before filming. You know, found good lenses, ultra prime to give it the film look, because we actually shot it on digital. And just lit it, you know, we lit it a little bit like a good photojournalism, you know, so it wouldn't feel like movie lighting. So there's usually just like one strong source of light, not too much filling. Usually the sources of light were in the shot very often. So the whole kind of strategy how to make it, you know, it's not enough to just switch off the color, you know, when you shoot the film. You have to really design the whole thing for maximum impact. Yeah.
Thank you. That was
How important is an award ceremony like the Spirit Awards and Film Independence for films such as Ida?
Yeah, I think especially for a film like Ida, because it was a film made with no hope of any success, you know, commercial success. Really, there was like, it was difficult to raise the money, and black and white film, and the actors are unknown and all that stuff. So this recognition, especially with a male independent, of course, it elevates the whole thing. We need that, you know. It's like because we know that these little miracles happen, and they keep us going, and they encourage others to take risks, you know. Because the film was like a huge risk. This one, I mean, like it made no commercial sense whatsoever, and politically it turned out to be pretty dangerous too, which I wasn't to know at the time. So these awards are great protection and great encouragement for others. There's a lady there.
Why did you think this story was important for
I didn't do it for my country, you know. Why was the story important for my country? No, it was like a universal story, you know, about stuff that interests me. It was about history up to a point, the Holocaust, Second World War, Stalinism, you know, the crimes of Stalinism as well are implied there. But it was mainly about timeless themes that interest me. You know, identity, faith, how many people can we be in one lifetime, all the paradoxes of the human soul, which is a good territory for art, you know, as opposed to politics and journalism. You know, so it wasn't like one reason why I made it, and I didn't make it to educate my nation or in fact anyone. It was like, I just felt like making this film about these two very interesting, complex characters.
Do you have another project coming up?
Not coming up, but I'm writing like two different things at the same time and just seeing which one will, you know, take off and drag me along, which is how I usually do it. Is a gentleman there?
How does Poland's film industry compare today to when it was communist?
You know, the paradox of communism was that it made film industry flourish, you know, because it was, first of all, budgets were available for non-commercial films. Secondly, there was a kind of tension in the air, you know, there was something to talk about, you know, and a lot at stake, and it encouraged filmmakers, apart from, you know, making films, and usually they were very well-trained filmmakers, so the level of filmmaking was very high. But also, people knew that the audiences are listening, you know, because the media, the press was full of lies and full of jargon. So, like, a good film would be devoured by people, you know. Like nowadays, you have to vie for attention. Then, if somebody like Wajda, Zanussi, or Kieślowski made a film, documentary, feature, whatever, there was like a huge audience waiting for it, you know. And these films, the more kind of dodgy and forbidden they were, the more actually important they became. So there was a strange paradox, you know. But state funding was also part of the success of that cinematography. And the last 25 years of democracy have been more difficult, strangely. You know, one had to vie for the audiences, look for the lowest common denominator, ape the West, you know, and it wasn't clear that the audiences were so interested in what filmmakers have to say because they could, you know, watch films from all over the place. So that kind of connection between audience and filmmakers has been lost up to a point. I suppose it's like everywhere else.
Last question. Good?
Good.